this has been in my family since about around 1908, I think it was, when they bought the property. And so as I grew up as a little boy, the ruts over here, or the swales, my dad told me about them, and luckily we decided not to destroy them like most of them were, so we left them in place. And so they're untouched, and the only place they're touched was we had nothing to do with. Santa Fe Trail was a really heavy commerce trail, and they had heavy loads of goods that they traded for. And so because of the heavy traffic and the weather, when it got wet, they just literally wore the ruts, and they'd have to move over and make a new path. And it just, over time of heavy traffic and wear and tear, and so but that's basically what it was. It's just a very heavy trail. It wasn't as much a pioneer trail. It was a goods trail. So trading and military and that kind of thing. The early settlers that were the very, very first settlers, was a fellow by the name, I'm trying to think of his name. He was over by Lyons, at where the Buffalo Bill's well is. He had a post there, he had a post there, and then he had a little trading, or a post office and a little trading post down here on the Little Arkansas, where the Stone Corral is. And from what I've studied, there's a book called Up from the Sod, and it's a great history of this area, and it talks about how he had settled there, had a trading post over there on the Cow Creek, and made agreements with the Indians, and actually had a pretty good relationship with them. And so he was the first, and he was the real, true first Buffalo Bill. He was the real Buffalo Bill. And then William Cody came here and worked for him, and he took that name, Buffalo Bill, and went with it. As they get down there closer to the river, the Little Arkansas, it was a very steep banks, so they had to unhook, like several wagons, and hook multiple teams together to get them up and through and up and over the other side. And they actually had to put some rocks in the bottom of the river too. But it was a very, very challenging crossing, extremely challenging. Yeah, there's people that say, well, I don't know whether that thing was that really there at that time. We're talking a long time now. We're talking, really in the mid-1800s, and that was a big tree, but cottonwoods don't tend to grow that long, I don't know. There's controversy over that. And there's another tree over here, a cottonwood tree on the trail just about a mile to the east of us. And it was also, they claim it was there. So it might be true. There were several times. I mean, there's several incidents where the Indians were an issue. And of course, if you go down there and by the river on the Garrison's, where that was, they were brought there because of Indian uprisings. Well, of course, we keep it mowed from several times a year, and we just don't allow it to be destroyed. It's the swales, and they're just the same as they were since I was a little kid. And keep in mind, this trail was an Indian trail before it was, the white man decided to, or the pioneers decided to use it. They had used that trail for who knows how many hundred years. And the cause for over by the Flint Hills, during a certain time of the year, they would come over here and hunt buffalo, and they would trade with the Quaverans that were here. So there was a lot of commerce that went on before we showed up.